Shnerd Bites coming up here. We got Cultcanon with us. Thank you so much, bro, for being here.
Yup,
Hey,
yup.
uh, no.
Dude, oh my god. We were 1 week without an accident, my
Hold
guy.
up. Goddamn.
I almost wrote you a note. 1 week without an accident.
Let me just pour the rest of this in there. While
Yeah,
it's
pour it
still,
out. Ben's
while
like,
it's still there.
Ben's like, boy, I made the mess. Let me just pour it all the rest on the ground.
Wait, before we get into this though, it is pretty late where we are. It's a little after midnight. We're gonna be talking about Suicide Squad. Me and you just watched it earlier within the last few hours.
Yep.
You watched it with your girl, and I watched it earlier before, when I got home.
For a second time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just real quick, just to explain the story. If you've never seen the first one, it's just pretty much a group of prisoners who pretty much have like the worst type of prisoners that there are. The prisoners groups, and
They're basically like superhero. They're like super villains that are in prison and they're hired to do a like suicide mission.
there you go.
Yeah.
And they go into this random Cuban or Guatemalan. They say the name, but it's one of
It's
those islands.
I think it's South America. It's a country off the coast of South America, and I think it's a made up country, but I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it's made up. But
Yeah.
the Americans send this Suicide Squad, this group of villains, to this country to pretty much do a mission. And long and behold, America's doing something really bad. You know what I mean? They ended up kidnapping this.
Who would have thunk it?
I know, right? They ended up abducting this villain called Starro, which we'll go into the details later. And there's a mission within a mission, and there's a traitor who's pretty much going to do the bidding of the government, and then everybody else wants to release the information that the government was involved.
And by traitor, he doesn't mean Pete Davidson in the beginning.
Yeah, just for the story context for this DC movie, it's a little better than the first Suicide Squad for sure. You know.
Oh, it's a lot of better.
So,
it's a lot of better. Even my girl, who is a fan of the first Suicide Squad, watched it and she was like, "Holy fuck, that was really good."
Yeah, and in the end, of course, good guys win.
Yeah, of course.
All that stuff.
Or bad guys in this sense.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just the gist of it. From here on out, is going to be spoilers. I know that wasn't the best explanation for this, you know what I mean, for this movie, but just the gist of it. If you haven't seen it, if you're not going to watch it, if you haven't seen the first one.
Yeah, and earlier what I said about Pete Davidson, total not spoiler. That happens in the first like 5 minutes of the movie.
Like 3 minutes if that.
Yeah, and they kind of alluded to it, but anyways.
So, how do you want to do this? You want to talk from beginning to the end, and then like we can skip back and forth, or you want to?
We could just let's skip back and forth. Let's just bounce around. Let's go more natural.
All right. So before we even start, though, you know what I mean. So what did you think of the soundtrack of this the movie?
Oh, it was. That's such a good question. I did not expect you to ask that. Okay, so there's parts of it that I like, of course, but I have one big criticism, and it sounds like it was mixed horribly. A lot of the songs, they're dope. They're dope. Like, I love the concepts of the songs. I love some of the singers, but for me, whoever did the scoring, which puts the music together in a movie, whoever did the scoring for this movie did really good, but the mixing for it, there's one scene where they're in the back of a truck, right? I won't jump forward, but they're all in the back of the army truck and they're about to beat the three of them, Flag, Bloodsport, and Peacemaker.
Yeah.
And they beat up the guards or whatever, but music is playing right there. And it sounds like they were trying to make it sound like it was coming from the front of the truck, like they were listening to the stereo, and that doesn't make any sense because
I did not notice that at all.
Yeah, it's such a good question that you asked, because that was one of the things I was mentally noting. I was like, like the mixing for this is like, it's like an amateur, like somebody on my level of my career made that Hollywood movie soundtrack.
It's like that's how they like try to jump to the career. They have to get like credits, like, oh, I
Yeah.
made this. You hear this beat. This is what I made, and it's on a blockbuster movie. So,
Hey,
this,
by the way, I found the sound guy for LeBron James' new House Party movie, the remake, and I hit him up. So I know nothing's gonna happen, but I just wanted to share that real quick. That I did a deep dive, found the guy who's working in the sound department for music, the music department, and I found his Instagram, which he hasn't logged into in like 8 months. And I sent him a message, and I sent him my song House Party, and I was like, "Come on, dude, we need this song in House Party."
yeah, bro.
But I know it's not gonna happen, but I wanted
Dude.
to share that because it's funny. That's how hard people work.
Dude, that'd be pretty sick if you ended up.
It won't
getting a
happen.
message.
But hey, you gotta
Let me
try.
know. You let me know whatever happens, bro. I did like the soundtrack though,
You
for
did.
the songs and everything.
I like the songs. I
that-
like the songs. I just didn't like how they incorporated it into the movie with mixing. That's all. But otherwise, I like the soundtrack. Like the way the songs are dope.
Yeah,
I love when Harley Quinn's getting tortured and she's singing, and I was like, "What is she singing?"
And then they started playing it.
Yeah, and I was like, that was so creatively
was,
good. But the mixing for the movie, the way they overlaid the music into the movie was it. I hate to say it, it felt amateur, and I'm not hating on it because I love the movie. By the way, I would not have watched
Let's
it
be real. It's not perfect, but it's not bad
at all, and they had some good songs that I literally am gonna look up.
I already Shazammed a couple of them.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you turn into a superhero? No, I'm just kidding.
I
Anyways,
was
go
like,
on.
where?
Billy Batson.
So, real quick, so since we're talking about the intro and everything, I love how they introduced Michael Rucker. I think it's Michael Rucker. Yeah, that's how you say his name. The dude from
Guardians of the Galaxy,
and from what he was before originally, Walking Dead, Merle.
Yes,
which is
Merle,
funny enough
yeah.
because I'm rewatching that whole show, but
yeah, he's what's his face's like best friend or uncle.
he was
or
also
something.
in this movie Slither, which if you haven't seen,
I haven't.
check it out.
I will.
So they introduce him as his badass, and that's when they introduce the Suicide Squad, and that's when they start like, you know what I mean. They have the fake intro for everybody.
Yeah,
with the javelin, the fucking KD or whatever,
Weasel,
the Weasel, and
who dies like amazingly.
So I think his name was Savant. So Mike Rocca's
Oh
name
yeah,
Savant.
the character, yeah.
So
he's like a low level villain.
Like pretty much everybody who on this
on
said,
team 2,
yeah,
team one, yeah.
They get dropped off into the start, and that's when he said Pete Davidson. He's like, "What's up, dudes? What's going on, guys? What's up?"
I'd never been more happy to see a character die than him.
I think the DC knew what they were doing. You know what I mean, like I think Pete Davidson knows, and I think other people know. Like maybe one day Pete Davidson will be like, you know what I mean, like very liked, and we'll look
it'd
back
be
and
great.
Like,
I said this earlier to Ashley. I was like, "Yo, fucking." I literally said the same thing. I was like, "Look, I think one day he has the potential to be great and a great comic and actor, but as of right now, he's terrible. He's like, I just don't like him."
Just so people know, we already have the pre-alpha mind link that Elon Musk is making, because this is like the third story we talked about. This is the first one for you guys on camera, but this is like the third one for us off camera. We're like, what the hell? We're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, we literally 3 times in the one Zoom meeting have now talked about 3 topics that we were both talking about at the same time separately.
Exactly, dude. So yeah, that they killed off a lot of characters though.
Right off the rip.
Yeah. So like you're saying, what would you think of the Weasel drowning, bro? Because I thought that shit was fucking hilarious, dude.
bro. Me, bro. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Dude, it was so good, dude. Like, it was so fucking good how they killed that character off, like how they killed him off, and it was just dope. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was even funnier. Michael Rucker or whatever his name is, Savant. His character was the way his character says him, and and the whole scene
He's
wraps
like,
around him,
amateurs.
and and then he pusses out.
Dude, honestly, that was my favorite scene just because
he's like,
literally in every
he's not freaking
really
out.
Is, dude. He looks at like everybody because Boomerang dies. Let's just acknowledge that real quick. That fool.
Captain Boomerang,
yeah, Captain Boomerang. So this is when I knew this movie wasn't taking itself serious anymore, when it killed off like most of its main characters.
Yeah.
And everybody died in like the first like 3 minutes.
Yeah, right away.
And then they had the alien chick, I forget her name, but she grabbed onto the helicopter, she crashed it, and that's what killed.
She's another one that's screaming like hilariously.
Because that's what you were saying, because he looks at her and she's like, because she's like, under the helicopter on fire. And he looks at everybody else, and Michael Rucker is just like you said, he's like,
he ran away. He started running and screaming.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. That was the best part in my opinion, dude. That was not the best part, but like that's how you start off.
So what movie were we just talking about that we watched the trailer of? Venom 2, where I was like, the comedy does not work for me. I want to point out that I thought the same thing with the trailer for Suicide Squad 2. So with that said, just keep that in mind for future reference. But dude, the intro of that movie is one of the greatest superhero intros that I've seen in a long time. It was so funny, bro. Like you said, when Weasel was drowning, he's like,
hell of that, dude.
Bro, and like also something to point out, they put a lot of love into the camera work, because you notice it throughout the movie, you notice it, but even in that first 10 minutes of everybody dying, the way they twist the camera, and they literally, like you said, you can tell they didn't take themselves too serious, because there are scenes when the camera focuses on somebody and they're gonna die. Like you're like, the camera's focusing on
what's funny too at first is like they all were kicking ass, and then all of a sudden everybody started dying and everything. And that's when Michael Rucker was like, hey, and then the only person who survived on that team obviously was I think his name was the Colonel, and Harley Quinn.
Oh no, you're talking about Colonel Flag, Rick Flag, and Harley Quinn.
Yeah. And what would you think of the dude who popped his arms off like
okay, so
he's all slapping them around?
Yeah, bro. Super funny, but I don't know anything about those characters in DC, because they are the worst characters. They're minor league.
Minor.
Yeah, they're minor league characters. And
apparently there's a bunch more like Easter.
No, there's a lot they had brought up in it. They made like the Thinker a minor character, which was kind of funny. Because that he's cool, but he's not that cool.
Yeah.
But dude, the detachable kid, TDK, the detachable kid is his name, is who you're talking about. And that he was hilarious. And he's another perfect example of a Pete Davidson. When he died, I was like, thank you. Like, I did not want to watch this movie. You know what I mean? And I think they knew. I think when they made that, they were like, this is for us for shits and giggles.
Exactly, dude. I love that intro though. It
was awesome.
But then they introduced the second team, and then it jumps back 3 days later. But this is the thing that I kind of hated though.
3 days earlier.
Yeah, 3 days earlier. My bad. The relationship between Deadsport and his daughter, that felt very forced because of the story that happened before. That it kind of felt like they had to have like a reason for him to just join the squad. Like, what? You gonna do that with my daughter?
Yeah, because
fucking put her in jail. Blah blah blah.
I could see what you're saying, because it was like they said, hey, it didn't work with Will Smith doing everything for his daughter, so let's make a character who does nothing for his daughter by just abandoning her. I agree with the forced part. I'm glad they did that though, in the aspect of I did not want to see them try to remake Deadshot, Will Smith's character.
Yeah.
I was like, please don't just go, we picked another actor for another character. Bloodsport and Deadshot are basically the same fucking character.
Pretty much.
Just like Peacemaker's the same character of them. And
yeah, he pretty much is like
they all three of them are the same.
Copy and paste a little bit.
DC and Marvel are notorious for stealing characters from each other. Like Marvel with Luke Cage. They took that from Mortal Kombat. Johnny Cage.
Dude,
they because he loved the guy who made Luke Cage loves Johnny Cage, so like he made
Thanos
a character. And Darkseid.
Yeah, Darkseid.
Yeah, dude, same thing. They are notorious for doing it. But I'm glad they did that with the daughter, because it was kind of one of those moments in the movie where you're like, I'm glad this is in the movie, but it doesn't need to be here, but it still lightens the atmosphere.
It just came out of left field, honestly.
It did.
Me. You know what I mean? Because you're just like, oh, who is this dude? And he's like, oh, this dude is the one who put a bullet in Superman. His dad was like a mercenary that trained him, you know, since day one. And then he's just like, TV watch, screw you. And I was like, what the hell, dude? Yeah. What's going on here? Which I get, which is probably also for maybe like the younger audience, like 13, 15-year-olds who are watching this with their, you know what I mean, with their families and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I agree. No, I agree. I agree with all of that. Bit. No, I agree 100%. I think that if there is an issue in the movie, because the movie's really good. If there are any issues for me in the movie, some of it is the CGI, of course, but a lot of it is, if there's any of it, it comes from the dialogue. So I agree 100%, because there are a few moments where I'm like, shut up and move on. Like this 5 to 30-second scene is unnecessary.
But rewatching it a second time, there was a few parts where I was like, I could just skip this and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter. I
wouldn't miss it. We wouldn't miss anything.
An example, the scene between the generals and the Thinker, when they first find the Yamaheimer or whatever it's called.
Starro.
Yeah, they first discover Starro, and he's showing them the footage of the astronauts in space with Starro. I was like, you could show that, but get rid of the rest of this, because like
him walking over the dead soldiers, like that made no sense. And everything.
I just didn't get it. There's a few of those dialogue scenes, but for it being a DC movie with no Batman or Superman or Green Lantern or Wonder Woman, you got to
main characters.
Yeah, none of the actual cool characters. They actually made, and this is a good segue, they actually made some Garbo characters really cool.
Yeah, dude.
Polka Dot Man, you brought it up, but I agree. Polka Dot Man, I love that character in the movie.
So when they introduced these characters, there was one thing I noticed the second time around. I don't know if you might have noticed this too, is Pacemaker.
Peacemaker.
Pacemaker.
Yeah. That's you know what a pacemaker is?
Yeah, a little.
Yeah.
Like a little mini defib.
No. It's a pacemaker is the thing. I think a pacemaker is is a fake
you install
heart.
Into the heart.
Yeah, it's an artificial heart valve. I think
it pretty much
it keeps your heart pumping with the electricity, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if it, you know what I mean, like it could also jolt you to like kind of get a look.
If it stops, wow, we'll all have one of those one day.
So yeah, Peacemaker. That when they introduced those characters, because they were like, oh, he's with Deadsport. It literally said he could kill anything with any. He can make anything a weapon.
A weapon.
Yeah. And they say the same thing with Peacemaker.
Yeah.
And then foreshadow was
being like, I can shoot dead center.
And
he goes, I shoot more center. And he goes, what do you mean? He goes, I shoot with smaller bullets, so my bullets go through your bullets. Dude, I was thinking the same shit earlier.
Dude. And then that's when
you just reminded me of something. I agree about the dialogue thing with the daughter, right? In this instance with that. They did a lot of foreshadowing. Like a lot, like the talk between Deadsport and Ratcatcher 2, when he was like, don't worry, I'm gonna save your life. And she was like, no, I'm gonna save yours, because spoiler and flash forward, she kills Starro.
Yep.
She's the one that kills Starro, like, which is a total foreshadow.
Super. And
they do that.
They make that stupid joke when they introduce what was her name? The
Ratcatcher.
Yeah. Ratcatcher.
Well, technically Ratcatcher too, but yeah, Ratcatcher.
Yeah, they're like, oh, millennials.
Yes.
And John Cena was the Republican of this.
Yeah.
He
For
just
real.
kept on having a, but and then what would you think of King Shark in this one? As they introduce him, and
okay,
he's
so
like reading a book upside down.
I like Stallone voicing him. I don't like that they made him stupid.
Okay, I'm gonna bring this up later. I'll remember this though. I want to kind of go scene by scene. My bad, dude.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, dude. No, when they first introduce him, I liked the scene a lot when he's reading the book upside down, and Stallone's voice was like, you know what? I made this joke earlier, but I'm gonna make it again because I didn't make it to you because it's funny. But it's almost like they were like, hey, do you want to voice King Shark the same way that
Groot?
The same way as Groot. But listen, Stallone, the character's really stupid. Can you just be yourself? Like, yeah, exactly. They're like, hey, you know that dumb fucking thing you do with your chin? Can you can you talk like that? Because that's really awesome. Like, it fits King Shark.
You remember when you got knocked out in the first Rocky, and you're like, dude, just do that,
bro. For real, I like King Shark. I do, but I'm a fan of the character, so I'm biased. I like him because he's a big supervillain for Flash.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. So this the next part is when they go into the oh my god, the village.
Oh, and they fucking brutalized all the rebels.
That was so fucking hilarious,
dude.
How they did
bro,
that, bro.
Okay, hold on. There's a lot of parts we got to talk about, and I'm gonna skip a couple. So please go back because I do want to talk about this because I love that scene, bro. Two of them come to mind. You already know the one between John Cena and Bloodsport.
Yeah,
Idris Elba. You know the one about the incendiary grenades. I'll let you talk about that one. But the one that was like super background. There's two. I want to bring up two. But it's background. It's background shit.
I think we're both. What's up?
Yeah, it's background shit. One of them is at the end of that brutal scene when John Cena walks through the hut and just stabs that guy a million times, like and leaves the axe in him. I was like, dude,
yes, that's one of the ones I have written down, bro.
My girl literally started dying laughing. She was
just
like,
how casual he did,
dude. She literally was like, he's such a fucking child. I was like, I love it, and she was like, me too.
Me too.
The other one is when they're fucking murdering everybody, and that fucking dude with the big ass dick is in the background. I was like, they put a big old dick in the movie, and like yeah, no, dude, and his dick is like that long, soft. I was like, good for you, my guy. You got horse dick. Like,
that's why he got casted, bro.
That's exactly why he got casted. Same with the president, El Presidente. There's a scene when he puts his boxers on and his dick, like,
it's just like,
bro, it's like that long again. And I'm like, damn, everybody has big ass dicks.
So wait. What about John Cena when he was in
the underwear?
Tidies, bro.
Yeah, bro. And, okay, for that scene,
that shit was hilarious.
Okay,
and then
I love that scene.
Idris Elba was like, called him out, and then John Cena.
Why you in your tidy whities? That's racist.
Yeah, dude. Did you catch this one though? When the rats come in for the first time, when she finds out that King Shark was trying to
eat her. Yeah.
It pans down, and like for like 2 or 3 seconds, Deadsport has a hole in his sock.
Oh yeah, in his toe.
Yeah,
his toe is sticking out. That's
dude,
why
I thought that was so fucking hilarious.
Okay, we just need to stop for 1 second and point out that's how good this movie is. That's how good this movie was. Me and Ben both noticed the hole in the sock. we were paying attention to everything. So I want to bring up one that is a good example of that. Another thing that I noticed that they did that I was like, that's fucking funny, is you brought it up. The John Cena and his tidy whities, right?
Yeah.
But something that they did with the camera work that I thought was funnier than fuck. There's a scene when they're in that, it's that scene when he's in his tidy whities and they're like, what the fuck? Why are you in your tidy whities? Bloodsport says that. And the camera pans down to his dick and then pans back up to his face. In that scene, now, I'm not saying that John Cena has a small dick, but it looks like they stuffed his tidy whities. And
of course they did.
And I want to say that why I think that, because the way the camera panned down was like what we've been talking about. It was like they were purposely pointing out that this big, strong guy is insecure. And I was like,
you gotta make my dick look big.
Yeah, I love that. And I was like, I'm not saying that's the fact. I'm just saying that when I seen that scene, that looked like creative camera work. And I was like, I love it because, like you said, they did the exact same thing with Bloodsport's toe. Yeah. With his toe poking out of his sock. I noticed it not the first time, but the second time I watched it, I was like, his toe's popping out. Like
it was hilarious, dude.
Yeah, it was good.
But also they also showed off Polka Dot man's little, he like went to the forest and he like threw up all his polka dots or some shit.
Yeah.
But then they're in the village and they end up finding out that they were fucking killing the resistance. Dude.
Yeah, bro, they fucked up. And
I laughed so hard at that. I'm not gonna lie,
bro.
I thought that was hilarious.
I also, since we're talking about that moment, they made King Shark super likable in those scenes, like cute, likable. You know what I mean? Like when he's like when they all storm into the thing to get
he's literally a shark in the jungle. You see his little fin in his head. He's like,
yeah, bro. And then when they sneak in on Flag to rescue Flag, he pokes his head through the curtains and it's just his head. And if you think about it, dun dun. Yeah, I was so dead, bro. Like I was like, oh, this actually is like another example of how they made you like low grade characters. You know what I mean? Like Polka Dot Man, an example, is a garbage idea. But like,
and to be fair though,
and we shit all over him, by the way.
His character is honestly like pretty OP. He just was fucking stupid. Like not stupid, but like
he was super depressed and insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he
super depressed, insane, insecure, and all that stuff.
I like the OP aspect. I almost said OP-ness again. Aspect. Yeah, I like the OP aspect of Polka Dot Man with him imagining his mom.
Dude, that hilarious.
It made it hilarious.
Like, especially the first scene where it shows it, or like he like starts throwing it back.
Yeah, it's all the team. Yeah, I was like, yo, my favorite one was two of them was Peacemaker and King Shark. I was
King
dead.
Shark was one. What was the other one? Not.
They did the whole team. But
yeah.
But a couple of them were funnier than fuck.
Was the rat his mom too? I didn't even know. Like, I don't know if I.
That's a good question. I'm gonna check tonight. Oh, that's a good question.
I didn't think about that.
Hey, since we're talking about the rat real quick, by the way.
Oh, he was dope.
I love Ratcatcher too. She is such a cool character. It's, you know what? Okay, I have to say a couple things. One's a fan theory, and two is about her. She makes me realize that DC is so good at making certain characters awesome. The side characters,
very likable.
Like the Joker in the Joker movie, right? That is not a good guy.
Joaquin Phoenix was also a great actor.
He played a big part. Let's not downplay acting there. You're right. Yeah, dude. And that scene will live forever in my head. Him dancing down the stairs. It's iconic. Always, it's so good. You're correct. His acting in that
forever history.
Dude, it's up there. It's literally like if you bring up Heath Ledger, for me, you have to bring up Joaquin Phoenix. It's like you have to.
It's like the that You know, the dude in the little
Scarecrow.
like the 40s, the Dick Tracy kind of outfit. And
Oh
he's like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I gotta get out on this plane. I gotta leave or whatever.
Yeah,
Like you guys, you know what I mean?
I
And
got a
we'll,
gun, machine gun. Yeah, I know what you
you
mean,
know what I mean? But it's just like one of those things where you're like, oh, I know that movie. Like I don't know the movie.
dude.
I've watched it like once or twice my whole life, but I've seen that before. But
Yeah, dude, I agree. And so the rap, man, one, it makes you realize that DC's does have something they're good at. As much as me and you talk shit about Warner Brothers, one of those things is they turned a character as silly as Polka Dot Man or Ratcatcher into cool characters. Where I was like, oh, they spoiler alert killed Polka Dot Man.
yeah,
I was like, fuck, man, I liked him.
yeah,
I wanted to see. This is gonna sound silly, but I want to see him in the Flash movie, and they still could do that because they're gonna be doing Dimensions. But anyways, yeah, so it could still happen. But
they had this in their back pocket. They're like, okay, Marvel, we see you with the what ifs.
So an example, perfect example. You bring up Marvel, and by the way, episode 1 dropped recently. But anyways, of What If, and so do I. I just noticed it today, and I was like, I got to see that. So perfect example of why this is one of my 2-part thing. One, this is where DC has done a really good job of making weird characters awesome in this sense, right? With very little. Zack Snyder's Justice League did it with very little animation, with very low budget. Darkseid and Steppenwolf. DC, they do have a knack for making you like horrible characters. Yeah. And perfect example is Marvel's not even able to do that because the equivalent to me of Polka Dot Man is Squirrel Girl in Marvel. And she kills Thanos.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But DC was able to pull off Polka Dot Man in Suicide Squad 2, in my opinion. So, second part, right? This is my other part of the thing with like characters like the Rat, right? We're talking about the Rat. Yeah. So, and I love the Rat.
Like what was his name?
Harold. No.
Harold. I think.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I can't remember. Harold. But he was awesome. I love the connection between him and Bloodsport. That was actually really cute.
It was so funny.
It was
when
cute
he was waving at the one of the resistance people. She's like, "Is that Rat waving at me?"
And he's like, "Yeah, it's fucking weird."
He pretty much said that. He's like, "It appears it's friendly" or something like that.
He's like, "Yeah, apparently." And he goes, "Anyways," but
ripped that dude apart, and it was the lightning.
The lightning, bro, that
sick,
scene,
dude.
Epic.
So sick. Dude.
I want a poster of that so bad. Like that would
be
such a good,
amazing poster,
dude. When he did that, I was okay. So we're talking about King Shark real quick. I have a disappointment in the movie that I want to bring up. The movie is still amazing. This is a very minute disappointment. Did you notice that not one fucking time did we see King Shark swim?
Yeah, just one time, actually.
No, not one time. He just gets splashed in the water from the aquarium. That should not count.
No, in the very beginning.
You're talking about when he comes up to the beach? That doesn't count.
Does it?
No, because by my definition, I want to see King Shark either in the sewers,
like this, dude. And you see his little feet.
No, you don't. He just comes up.
No, you see his little feet. It's because you see them all in the.
But you never see him swimming in the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. Like, doesn't this beg the question? When do we get to see King Shark versus Batman and Aquaman? Like Aquaman specifically, right?
Dude. So
that's but anyways, I wanted to bring it up. I know what scenes you're talking about. I disagree 100%. Those do not count as swimming. I'm talking about it would have been really cool, even if they only put King Shark in the aquarium. About this, dude?
He's like, oh, more dumb friends.
At that scene I'm talking about, yeah.
What if in the next movie that comes out, it's like 2-3 years?
Yeah.
What if he's smarter? What if he actually gains intelligence?
Okay,
what if he's actually like, you know what I mean? Like
I love that you asked that, because earlier I was wondering while watching it a second time, I was like, I wonder if we're seeing a young King Shark.
It has to be
Because yeah,
how
because
the hell did they have this dude? And then he's just like,
yeah, he's in there.
look,
He's probably locked up for like one murder, like two, or not one, or maybe not one, but he's probably locked up for murdering at the beginning of his arc.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I wondered the same thing, and I wonder if he is a young version of the character we're used to seeing
that's
already
actually,
aged.
Yeah, that's actually a good question, man. I really hope we get some kind of backstories for these guys, man, because
You know what would be cool is if they did the 13 Ghost approach for the Blu-ray, and if you watch the Blu-ray, the bonus features was backgrounds biography about each character.
Oh. What about the bar scene? What do you think about that when they're
partying and shit?
Yeah.
I love the character building and relationship building in the movie. Like the scene at the end when Bloodsport is petting the rat was very cool to me. I thought it was cute. And the scene at the bar was the same thing because you got to see them on their bus ride to the bar or their trip or whatever, or to the place. And you got to see the bond between Ratcatcher 2 and Bloodsport. And in the bar, you really got to see Bloodsport show that he is just a guy living his life, and he's been in some shitty situations that he dealt with.
Yeah.
The bar scene I really liked because of the character development, though.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing. What about you?
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good, like you were saying. I thought it was funny when Peacemaker. God,
we should just call him Pacemaker.
When Peacemaker was like, "Wait, you forgot the rat," and then and then it showed Polka Dot Man taking a shot, and he was just like,
bro. And I loved when Bloodsport was like, "You forgot the rat." That was like
wasn't Bloodsport. That was Peacemaker.
Oh, it was. I love that scene. I love that scene. Again, the character development because them all dancing together. My girl was like, John Cena dances like you would expect a white dad to dance.
Like going like that.
Yeah, he's like that. I was like,
what was funny about that too is that we're talking about with the Polka Dot Man. He was dancing with all the fine ass the fine ass women out there, and when it was circle around. The camera angle circled around, then it showed him dancing, and they're like the way he sees it is they're all his mom, and he's like, yeah,
dude, it was so dope, bro. Like I said, the character development in that movie was again, for anybody watching right now, understand that me and Ben shit on this movie from the trailer more than probably anybody.
Very bad,
yeah, and literally our first watch. We text each other immediately and we're like, holy shit,
like, dude, have you seen it, bro?
Yeah, and I was watching it in that moment. I finished it, and me and him geeked out for an hour over the movie, and it was fucking, that movie was really well written. Like, really well written.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers, let's hope they don't do typical Warner Brothers and go take a left.
So with the Harley Quinn scene, what do you think? Like we talked about it a little bit earlier, but how she pretty much was getting like electrocuted. Yeah. And
are you referring to like the whole scene or the CGI?
I'm talking about the scene where she's chained up, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so there was things that were cool about that. My girl pointed out this chick got dropped into a vat of acid. Like, she doesn't give a fuck about electrocution. Like, so when she said that, I realized, I was like, you're right. If this is a comic book character, she didn't mean it this way, but I interpreted it this way. I kind of felt like she shouldn't have been affected at all. No, I mean, physically semi, but like, it was like mentally, I love that scene. I do like it. One thing I really like go on.
I was just gonna say one thing you gotta remember, dude. These are second tier characters. You know,
exactly. No, exactly. You're right. And one thing I want to point out that was really cool choreographing was when she chokes the guy out. I love that she locks her leg behind his back.
Yeah.
Because it made me realize, I was like, either that's a stunt double or Margot Robbie.
Of course, it's a stunt double.
However, no matter the case, that person knows that the only way that move would be effective is if you're locked in. like a
Yeah,
headlock, like a
exactly.
headlock. You know what I mean?
It's even
Like
more deadlier though. It's with your legs, dude.
yeah, with your
More some
legs
power
and
if
that
somebody knows
those
what they're doing
and
exactly.
and sometimes women have some beautiful fucking thighs. Let me tell you. But like, and so the
Watermelon
idea
crushing.
watermelon crushing bitches, but like I love it. I like the scene a lot, and I like what it led to. What about you?
The other. Oh shit! We kind of skipped the Harley Quinn scene with the that one
Javelin.
dude, not the javelin, the other guy, the dictator, the dude.
Oh, where they fuck.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
You know, they don't pretty much they fuck.
Yeah,
They fuck.
that's kind of one of the things you could have skipped, right?
That's 100% what I talked about dialogue wise earlier. That
Yeah.
entire love story scene was only 10 minutes for everybody worrying. Don't worry, it's not long. And it ends really dope.
I thought it was pretty funny. There was one time, there was one
When
moment
she
where
shoots his ass, I was like, I died laughing.
I
I
did
was
not
like,
even expect that.
neither
But
did I. I was like,
that,
yes.
Before that, when they were about to fuck, she slams him against the guns and the walls, and she's like, it was just funny because she slams him against the this glass. It was just
yeah, bro. And then when she shoots him, I like that. I like the dialogue after because she's like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna and she's like, I'm sorry, and R.I.P. to that beautiful monster in between your legs. I was like, okay, I see you, bitch.
But your thoughts are something like that. Like you look better that way without those negative
You're
thoughts.
beautiful alive, but you look better this way. You look better dead. Yeah, that scene, it was cool. They could have skipped over. But I did like I said, there's a lot of funny like you said, there's a lot of funny shit in that scene between those two.
And then also going back to when she started shooting everybody.
Yeah.
And she what did you think of that? Because I thought it was pretty cool how she was going around and just kind of like
fucking people up.
And then,
yeah. It was badass. It was hella badass. It was actually one of the coolest scenes in the movie. I think the CGI could have been done better, but it was still cool.
I liked it when she smacking the dude in the face because he's trying to
bat with the gate.
Yeah, he just kept on going with it, dude. And I was like,
I love that. I love that. It reminded me of the Harley Quinn movie, the one they made when she is in the police station and she's fucking up all the cops, and they're in the evidence room, and she does a line of cocaine or heroin, and I was like, I like this. Like, I was like, yes, like we don't want to see Disney anymore. We're tired of Disney. Like, make something like our favorite hero, like Superman, does a line of blow out of fucking Lois's ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do something crazy.
It was kind of messed up when they destroyed the birds, right, dude?
Oh, that was fucked up. Yeah.
He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, he's just sitting there smoking his cigar or some shit. He's like, yeah, another day in fucking Cortos Matisse.
Right after they were torturing Harley Quinn, the dude, like you're saying, got his neck snapped. He was sending a bunch of emojis, and that's all he was talking in.
Yeah, dude. And you know what's funny is it's a running joke for like people that I make music with, where I'll be like, people don't even talk nowadays and leave real comments. They just communicate in emojis. I always say that. And like when they did that scene, I was like, yeah, that's how it is. Like,
exactly, bro.
And I hate it.
When she picks up the javelin and everything, she hella starts, you know what I mean, starts fucking shit up and everything.
I love when she ran up the wall. And then I was like, the kill scene with all the flowers coming out was cool. But
was that from Birds of Prey or whatever?
Yes, they took that style from Birds of Prey. But they kind of do it in Suicide Squad to an extent with the coloring. The CGI was cool. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, if with all the money spent, the CGI could have looked way better. Because it literally, what it looked like to me was the scene was recorded with action wires, meaning she was strapped to a harness. They took a animated picture of the flowers and the birds, and they overlaid it into the image. That's all it looks like to me. It doesn't look like the color correcting
some like very good Photoshop or something like that.
Not even very good. It looks like okay Adobe Premiere. Like it doesn't look like something that's like Hollywood manufactured. It literally looks like, I feel like if me and you took my best camera and your best camera, we could film that scene like tit per tat,
Dude,
every fucking angle, and do it like just the same they did it.
I did like that scene though.
No, I did. I liked it. Oh, I liked it too. But I'm just saying, as a criticism, the animation, I love that scene. I love how they do that in these movies. Harley Quinn is a very powerful character in this Warner Brothers DC universe. Yeah. But that scene, if I'm going to be like critical, I would say, or cynical, I would say it could have been animated better. But I love the scene. Like, I love the scene. It's dope. It's fucking dope. And when the scene hits, you kind of get excited to see what's going to happen.
Yeah. And then they end up trying to save her. And she was like, "Oh, you're trying to save me?"
Yep.
Oh, you know what I mean?
I'll go back inside. Do it.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
Real quick. Okay, so what did you think of the little jellyfish dudes?
Oh, the starfish.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I also wanted to bring up one thing. Side character. Milton.
Yes, dude, Milton was awesome.
Dude, another hilarious character. And he reminded me so much so of Pablo Francisco. When everybody gets killed and they're like, Milton, and he's like, see?
Oh.
He's like, no, he's like, see?
Yeah.
Bro, I was dead. Bro, I was dead, bro.
That was hilarious.
All I thought of was Pablo Francisco. I was like, this is so amazing.
I love how he came to, like, he was coming out to like help them,
and he dies.
He had the shotgun, and then the colonel was like, "You wish." No, it took him.
When you first watched the movie, did you even notice that he was with them when they were placing the bombs?
Yes.
I didn't. My girl pointed out. She's like, "Who the fuck is that?" Yeah. And I was like, "Who?" And she was like, she called him Marvin or something. And I was like, I don't know. And I was like, "Are you talking about the bus driver?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, dude, he's the that's explained later." So I made her wait. But in my head, I was like, "Holy shit!" I never noticed him.
It's because Polka Dot Man. First time around, I was like, I remember looking back. I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, that's like that was him." Because I remember seeing that, like, who the hell is that guy?
But did you notice him in any other scene when they're planting the bombs?
I think there was one of them.
There's one scene when he's in the background and they hand him something.
Yeah.
And I was like, and she pointed it out, and I was blown away.
That's how the explosives get. Yeah, that's how the explosives go off, right?
Yeah, exactly. When Milton dies, Polka Dot Man accidentally says, so they storm the building in the rain.
Okay, yeah. So
and then they plant the C4 everywhere, and King Shark makes the little
when what's his name? The colonel finds out about
Flag.
Finds out about the whole
the conspiracy.
America is pretty much just behind everything. They're the ones who captured Starro,
much like America in real life.
Exactly. And so the fact that the thinker,
the thinker with the brain guy,
the thinker with the big old stinker. No, he was experimenting on for a while, so it's
that scene. Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. That scene when they go down the elevator, and all of the Starro zombies are like, he's been experimenting on me. He's done his way with me.
Like, are you here to help me? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, holy fuck, like that was
pretty crazy.
It was crazy because if you've ever seen the cartoon or read the comics, that was Superman's goal with Starro. Superman was trying to find Starro a new home, and Starro escapes and takes over Superman for like 3 to 6 years. Like, he takes over Superman's body and controls Superman for like half a decade. I mean, for half a dozen years. And so when they did that, I was like, oh my God, they kind of played it into Starro just wants to find home.
Yeah.
And like we
His end
murder
quote,
him.
dude. He was like, I love staring at the stars. I was happy staring at the stars.
Yeah, and that scene when I loved the flashback footage on the projector when Ratcatcher literally another foreshadow a moment. Ratcatcher 2 is like, what is that over there in the beginning of the movie? And she's like, that's a projector. And she's like, why don't you just throw it away? Right.
It was
and
an
at the end of the
projector.
Yeah, and then during that scene with Thinker and the El Presidente, I don't remember his name. I'm just gonna say El Presidente, but they are watching the footage on a projector.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's hella true.
I was like, that's cool.
Oh my God,
like,
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, I was like, that's fucking cool. So it was really cool to see that Starro, them going, hey, we know you guys know what the story is with Starro, but we're gonna slightly alter it. And I kind of liked it.
And then he grew hella big, and which I'm guessing that's
what happens. That's what happens. Yeah,
yeah.
He grows hella big, and then he zombifies the entire Justice League.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't remember who saves them, but I know that it's a character that's not taken serious, like Flash, or I can't remember who saves them, but somebody saves them.
One of the craziest things that does happen though is Peacemaker fighting
Flag. Yeah, he betrays him. Yeah.
And honestly, I think the only reason that he beat him was because dude had to take out a fucking a stabbed. He got stabbed when the collapse happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When the bombs went off. So I believe if he was 100% healthy,
Flag would have won. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. So I have a question since we're on this topic about how good John Cena really was in this. I'm not a fan of John Cena, but in this movie, it made me literally go, I can't wait to see more John Cena in other movies. Like
he's definitely a great actor. If you're asking me what kind of like how he was in this movie and what kind of actor he's going to be, I've never seen any. I've seen a couple movies with John Cena.
Yeah, so have I.
Not to the point where I'm like,
I recommend. So I'm gonna watch it later. I recommend. I'm gonna rewatch it later. I never finished it. I only got 30 minutes into it. Watch his movie Cock Blockers.
Yeah. So I never watched that one, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, either did I. Sorry, I watched it but didn't finish it. But I suggest it because after watching this, I'm thinking about scenes that I've seen, and I'm like, oh, I want to kind of watch him in another movie now. So
I'm not too much of a big fan. Like I just seen memes of him. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, it's funny to see him like act and everything. So but he's actually a really good actor.
No, in this
one, and he really proved that he could actually be a legit actor.
So do you think with what you just said about John Cena, do you think that it was a good idea for DC to give him a TV show about Peacemaker?
Is that what's going on?
That's what's going on. Yeah, DC gave him a TV show. He has a TV show coming out. How do you feel about that? I'm curious.
I thought that was an excuse to make a Suicide Squad 3, but now that I know that they're gonna make a
TV show, yeah, like how Disney does their shows, DC's gonna do it with Peacemaker. They're gonna do a Peacemaker TV show. So I'm
not excited at all to answer your question.
Me neither. I think that's a stupid idea. I think that's a good way to ruin the character.
Oh my God! So we both said that this is a way for the DC to not take everything serious, you know what I mean? Take anything serious. The fact that they kind of failed. I mean, they have Titan season 3, right?
Yeah, they're doing the they're actually
season 2 or something like that.
No, they're on season 3, I think.
So going back to Peacemaker, he kills like we said
Rick Flag.
Yeah, and
Ratcatcher.
Yeah, Ratcatcher 2 ends up getting the the hard drive.
The hard drive, yeah, and he's about to kill her.
And then that's when Idris
dude, Idris
blood.
Alba like a pimp.
Ooh. And then it's the foreshadow, bro. The fucking the little you smell the bullets.
Yeah, bro.
But still, though, it was pretty sick because it went through his gun and the fucking.
It did.
The ricochet from his gun is what got him in the neck. He was like,
dude, it was so good. I love the dialogue between those two characters because they're the same character basically.
It was literally just a pissing contest the whole time. It was
the whole time, and my favorite moment is when Idris and John Cena shoots that incinerator round behind him, and Idris is, and he's like, Idris
nobody
is like,
likes to show off.
Yeah, and he's like, it's not a show off, and what you're showing off is fucking dope as fuck. And that fool Idris turns around and he's like, fuck,
he's right.
He's right. And like, I was like, yo,
he's like, that was pretty fucking sick.
It was pretty cool. Like, that made me like it. That made me fucking like it. And I don't want to see a TV show. But
well, let's talk about Starro real quick though. Like Starro was pretty fucking dope.
He was dope. The animation was a little lame. But I can get over that because the movie is good.
You know what I kind of wish they would have done though? I guess he probably does have like a equilibrium, I guess. So up is down and down is up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But I would really have loved him see him do like a little cartwheel because he's just an eyeball.
Yeah.
So just see him just like instead of being
dude. Of course, the aesthetic.
Like a
bro. I agree, and I also think that Starro, no matter if it was today or if they made this same exact movie but with better technology in 10 years, Starro's a really hard character to animate.
I think they did a good job with it, honestly.
I don't like the animation for it. It was cool. It was good. Again, it does not take away from the movie. I'm not shitting on the movie. I've watched it twice. I promise you I'll watch it a third time in the next month. Like, guaranteed it's that good of a movie. It's really good. In fact, I get to see characters I don't like become characters I like. Polka Dot Man and Ratcatcher, perfect example.
Right.
But I didn't like the animation. That's just me being picky. But in reality, you're right. It does not take away from the film. Starro was dope. And I love the story with the Thinker. And that scene when Starro kills the Thinker was just brutal.
Rips him and
then slams him against. Yeah. And then John Cena's The Peacemaker wakes up. That cinematography was fantastic.
So good. That's how he wakes up.
Yeah, right. So good. And so when we get to
then
Starro,
off the helmet too, that was pretty unique how they had the fight off the helmet.
I loved it. So by the time we get to Starro, you're not actually thinking about like your criticisms anymore. You're kind of like, what's gonna happen?
What was pretty crazy too is Waller told him to go back, and they're all going back, and then Idris was like, or Dead Sport was like, okay. He heard everybody going, like all the screaming and everything. Is like, fuck it, and he just started turning around, and then I thought that was pretty badass.
You know what?
Harley like put up her little.
She flipped her boot up, and I thought that was good. I thought that was good as cinematography, like the filming of it. That's cool you bring that up because one of my favorite cute scenes is when his daughter is in the foster home watching her dad be a beast, and like he is fighting a fucking 100-foot monster, and like
that's my dad.
And for me, it's corny, but for me, at the same time, acknowledging the corny cliche cheesiness, I'm like, that's comic book right there.
Right.
That's comic book. That feels so comic book that if you guys took this formula and applied it to your next several movies, I don't mean the humor. I just mean you guys taking yourself less serious.
Exactly.
DC would rival Marvel. Guaranteed. Like a good Batman movie, I'll be honest. I was wrong about the trailers from Suicide Squad 2, but I will say that Suicide Squad 2 has a good formula.
Yeah, I mean, this movie definitely will put him in the right direction. I think.
I hope so. I hope we get I hope we get a number 3.
Me too. I'm hoping that too, man. And just,
shit.
There's a lot of things they could do, like depending on what the Batman and everything, like how they.
Do you think they're ever gonna realize we need to tie in these universes?
I think
Because
so, yeah.
that's
They would
that's
have
the
to.
issue.
They would
Because
have
that's
to.
I hope that the Flash is the one to do it.
I mean,
Where
they introduced, like you're saying, and we were talking about earlier, like with King Shark, he gets smarter, and then maybe he meets somebody. Like
exactly.
Flash.
Exactly. There's a lot of room for potential. They did ruin one thing with Team X, or not Team X, X Team or something like that. It's a DC thing. Where Rick Flag dies. And that was kind of garbage. Where when Rick Flag died, although I hate that, I do not like that actor. He was really good. He was really good in that TV show I recommended. He's also in Rick Flag is also in Altered Carbon.
Oh,
yeah, and he's actually great in it. He's fantastic. He's fantastic in it. He's so fitting for the character. But
so what do you think of Starro's death? How they
with the rats. The rats basically won. Ratcatcher basically wins.
Pretty much.
She's the one that's the winning factor.
Quinn goes into the eyeball to
okay, so I have like a 3-part complaint compliment. It's a compliment too, though. One thing is, let's go with the complaint. One thing was the death was super simple and lame. It was the idea
very
of
quick.
It was very quick. That's all I'm trying to say. Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's my complaint. That's my only lame complaint, right? Let's push that aside. 2 things that were amazing in that scene. One, Harley Quinn diving into the eye was beautiful cinema.
It was
beautiful. Her with all the blood and the rats.
I have to have the javelin now.
Yeah, I get it. Like, and she dove into the eye, and it was beautiful.
I was not expecting that. I thought it was gonna be like jelly and just be like.
I thought she was gonna kill it, and then she got sucked in, and then the rats followed, and I was like, "This is actually cool."
I thought that was pretty sick.
It was cool.
And it was so graphic, especially when they bit the
nerves. Yeah,
like it's
spread with blood.
Oh god,
dude, it was so cool.
It was literally a parasite in your eye,
bro, for real. And the other thing was, the other compliment was, I really like how they showed that some of their lamer characters are really powerful, like Ratcatcher or Polka Dot Man. So in that scene, you really got to understand why Ratcatcher 2 is so powerful, because, and I was telling my girl this, because she was like, that's not really a superpower. She talks to rats. And I was like, hold on. You know that in all countries, everywhere around the world, rats outnumber humans 10-1.
Yeah,
that's not a
well. Just think
true.
about it too. If a rat crawled up you, is crawling up you, you're gonna react and everything. But there's a good chance while it's coming up, it can bite your neck. But not only that, it can bite you. And even if it bites you on your leg, you get it off.
You got rabies.
Exactly, you got some kind of freaking disease, dude.
And
something bad going on.
And on top of it, in the one cut scene in that movie that they very lightly touched on, which I loved, that they didn't spend too much time doing backstories, but I loved that they did semi do it, was that scene where her dad, Ratcatcher 1, is teaching his daughter, Ratcatcher 2, that these rats are the most ignored creatures of all time, of all animals, pets, whatever. But look how much they care and help us.
Yeah,
like look how all they do. Like,
speaking of that CGI you didn't like is when they're laying down together and it was like,
and the rats cuddle them. Another horrible.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah, but let's be real. When a movie is bad, when it sucks, right? You go, the CGI sucked, this sucked, that sucked. In this movie, when the CGI sucks, you're kind of grateful you got the scene.
There was just a couple scenes that were
only a couple scenes.
A handful.
But at the end of it, when the scene had bad CGI, you didn't sit there and I guarantee you, at least I didn't sit there and go, I'm gonna fault you for this. Instead, I was like, oh, the comic book nerd part of me is going crazy. I love it. Like, I love this. It's corny, it's cliche. The rats covering you looks like shit because of the CGI. However, I don't want you to get rid of that scene.
Yeah.
Like, I like it. Like, I like the, like, an example, King Shark playing with the jellyfish.
The little, I love that scene, dude.
I love it. I love it.
What's funny too,
it's not great CGI,
there
but
was one
it's
right
dope.
when the explosives went out, or the tower started falling. It showed Harley Quinn hella pulling out, like she was on top of King Shark.
Yeah, pulling the fucking jellies off.
Yeah,
I seen that, and
that
I was
was
like,
so hilarious,
bro.
I
And
love
then
that.
it was cool. It was funny. And then another scene like that is at the end of the movie when Ratcatcher 2 finds out that King Shark is still alive, and she runs up and hugs him. And I
Yep.
loved how she looked against him, because my first thought was, holy fuck, we might get an Injustice League movie. Like, oh my god, like, Ratcatcher is a cool character now, at least in my mind. You know what I mean? Like, I
most
like
definitely.
her.
Yeah,
I like
she's
her.
just very likable character. I think she's
Same.
one of the reasons why this story was very, you know what I mean, able to
Get some
relate
traction.
to a lot of traction, relate to a lot of people and everything.
I agree. I agree. It was
So
it's coming up to the end there though with Starro. I do like, again, I have a love-hate relationship with the CGI, because I hate it because, in my opinion, $1 million movie, multi-hundred of $1 million a movie, can afford to do better. However, I like the movie so much that I don't hate it.
it's
that I don't hate
budget on the intro.
And the actor and the actors,
Yeah,
100%. Yeah. But I watched the movie, and by the end of it, Starro dies. His eye gets filled up with blood, and we get a really powerful scene where it's like that when the Ratcatcher goes to kill Starro, and all the rats are running over Bloodsport, and he's freaking out, and Bloodsport's freaking out. I love that scene between.
God damn it!
But Ratcatcher has her hand on him, and she's like trying to tell him, like, you're okay, nothing's gonna happen to you. And I love it because it literally perfectly,
one of those little things, bro.
It's one of those little things, and it perfectly sets up a million scenarios for future movies. And it's like, I love it. Like, I love that. So, like, Starro, back to your question, Starro as a whole, I loved it. I loved him.
What would you think if Will Smith was in this movie instead of Idris?
But as Deadshot, not Bloodsport.
Yeah. Also, you have to remember he had his relationship with Harley.
Okay, if there's two things, I think he could have ruined it easily. But two, if he was actually directed correctly by James Gunn, I think it would have been amazing. And three, I think that the movie would have been more amazing because we would have gotten the epic sex scene between Harley and Deadshot.
So this is what I was thinking.
By the way, that's in the comics. That sex scene is epic. It's what you're
talking
scene.
about. What we're talking about right now. That sex scene, I think, got replaced with the senator dude.
Yeah, the El Presidente.
Yeah, so I think that was supposed to be the Deadshot sex scene,
but Bloodsport
with Harley,
but with Bloodsport probably.
No.
You mean from the first movie?
Like if Will Smith came into this movie.
Oh, because he was approached and they didn't give him enough money, is what I read.
Well, I'm just saying for this.
So no,
for the second,
you're
for
right.
This movie for him to be in.
They could have written that scene for Will Smith's character.
I think that scene was written in like already for Bloodsport, but they're
no. Deadshot.
Deadshot,
yeah. I think it's Deadshot.
Yeah. So I think for Deadshot, I think that scene was originally written for Will Smith and Harley.
I could see that because I read that when they started writing this, negotiations began with Will Smith, and negotiations fell through. They had to probably change it.
So I'm not gonna lie, dude. I honestly like Idris in this movie over Will Smith because I think if Will Smith was in it, it'd be more focused on him more than everything else.
I 100% agree. Idris was incredible in this.
Yeah.
He was perfect.
Perfect. Yeah. I'm with Will Smith though. I think he would have stole the show just a little too much. You know what I mean?
In a negative way.
Yeah.
Idris killed it. I loved Idris. Every aspect of Idris.
Idris and John Cena kind of balance each other out,
dude.
I mean,
and
everybody
you know
else kind of everybody kind of balanced each other out.
They held their own weight.
Stars,
Everybody else held their own weight, but Idris and John Cena, they 100% balanced each other out. To the point where it makes you question: was John Cena really good at being Peacemaker, acting wise, or did he just ride the shine of Idris Elba? Because all of his good scenes, Idris is in.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, did John? This is why I want to watch that movie Cockblockers again. Yeah. Because I'm like,
see how good of an actor he really is.
Yeah, because I'm kind of lightweight. Like I already knew Idris is incredible. Like he's easily one of the best actors nowadays that you want to see in movies. Like the only reason I ever watched the Fast and the Furious movie with Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham was because of Idris. Like I wanted to see Idris act. Like I love Idris's acting, Idris Elba's acting. I think I'm saying his name right.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I mean, the reason why I know him is from Rock and Roller. You want to be a rock and
great movie,
right?
Great movie. Oh my god, I can't believe you just brought
next
that
time
up.
I come over, we're gonna watch that.
We're gonna watch that. That is one of the Rock and Roller, bro. If I'm not mistaken, let me look this up real quick. But isn't Tom Hardy in that movie?
He might be. There's a lot of people in that movie. A lot of people who became American actors in that movie.
Tom Hardy plays Handsome Bob, the gay guy. The Bane.
Yep.
That's Bane.
So
from Batman.
Let's finish this off.
Yeah.
What do you rate this overall?
Oh man, I'm gonna try not to be biased. So considering bad CGI and some unnecessary dialogue, I'm gonna give it a still good rating. I'll say because there's only two things that I hate that I'm like that are trivial, that are just me being a fanboy. Like I'm just being a fanboy. 8 out of 10.
Dude, that's my rating, bro. 8 out of 10.
I have to say it because I will watch this movie in 2021. I'll probably watch that movie 3 more times.
Yeah, I probably will too. There's a few things is the Harley Quinn, like some of her jokes are a little too, you know what I mean, too out there. Like
they're forced,
they're forced. Like when they were interrogating somebody and they were like, she's like, I'm mad walking back here.
Yo, that's so weird. My girl brought that up. She was like, why the fuck did she say that? And I was like, I never noticed that. And she does. She goes, I'm mad pacing. And she's just like, and I'm like, the fuck? Like, that's horrible writing. Like
it is. There's little parts where it's like this is a little forced, like Harley Quinn's. And I get it because she's literally been carrying the DC franchise
for fucking on the weight of her shoulders. So has been carrying DC.
So maybe her agent was like, she give her more lines, give her more screen time.
Hence the line like, sorry guys, I'm late. I was taking a number 2.
Right.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I guess this will end this one of the Shnerd bites. This is a long Shnerd. This is midnight Shnerd bites.
Yeah, you're gonna have to cut a bunch of shit.
Yeah, but if you made it this far, thank you so much. You're awesome. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. What your favorite moments were, and thank you so much, Cultcanon.
Hell yeah, bro! You got to experience everybody watching 2 drunk guys in one video.
Link in the link in the description for all Cultcanon's info and
additional stuff. Hell yeah,
and lots more to go. But thank you so much, dude. Again, Shnerd Cast
out.